And welcome to Eagle Forum's Capitol Hill Update. My name is Tabitha Walter, and I'm the Political Director of Eagle Forum.
And I'm Kirsten Hassler, our Executive Director. Well, we are still waiting on the language of the possible omnibus funding the government. But in the meantime, we have some surprisingly good news for you. So former Democratic presidential candidate and current member of the House of Representatives, Tulsi Gabbard, introduced a handful of bills aligning very well with conservatives late last week. The first, H.R. 8939, is a measure to, quote, amend Title 18 of the United States Code to protect pain-capable unborn children, end quote. While the full text of the bill is not yet available, it appears to be very similar to the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act, or S-130. Sorry, I got that wrong. It's the Pain-Capable Abortion Survivors Protection Act. Those two are so similar, it's easy to get jumbled in your mind. So you may recall that this legislation failed to pass the Senate earlier this year, and Speaker Pelosi even refused to bring it to the House floor for a vote.
And if a Democrat introducing a pro-life bill to the House floor doesn't come as a surprise, this next one will. She also introduced legislation with Republican Congressman Markwayne Mullin from Oklahoma to protect the integrity of Title IX. It's called, the number is HR 8932, or the Protect Women's Sports Act. And it clarifies the Title IX protections for female athletes based on biological sex. As we have reported before, ensuring the integrity of Title IX is important because many girls have had opportunities taken away from them while competing in sports with males who identify as females.
And lastly, Gabbard also introduced a bill taking aim at big tech. So you may remember last week we mentioned Section 230 and the president's desire to see it in the NDAA, or the National Defense Authorization Act. So big tech enjoys some legal immunity through Section 230 that has allowed them to censor or ban certain voices, especially those of conservatives. So Gabbard's bill, called the Break Up Big Tech Act of 2020, would remove the Section 230 legal immunity shield that protects interactive computer service providers, like big tech monopolies and social media companies, who engage in certain manipulative practices, including acting as publishers and censoring certain users, if enacted.
Yeah, it's about time. Now, make no mistake, Gabbard will receive flack for this, and she already has been labeled transphobic for the Title IX bill, and liberals label her as, quote, stuck in the 90s for her views on restrictions and abortions. Gabbard won't be back for this coming Congress, unfortunately, but we do appreciate her introducing these bills. Maybe most Democrats aren't all that far apart from some of the views held by the Republican Party. And speaking of abortion, we've got some excellent news coming out of the Trump administration.
That's right, Tabitha. This week, the Trump administration announced that it has filed a lawsuit against the University of Vermont Medical Center, which forced a nurse to kill a baby in an abortion. The Department of Health and Human Services, or as we like to call it, HHS, announced a lawsuit earlier this week as part of its effort to protect health professionals from being forced to participate in abortions if it violates their conscious rights.
And then the second good news of the day is that the Trump administration will withhold millions of dollars in Medicaid funding until California removes their illegal policy mandating that insurance companies must cover abortion services. This is another violation of conscious rights, and we are grateful to the administration for taking this so seriously.
And that's a great note to end on. If you're not signed up yet for our legislative alerts and reports, you can do so on our website, eagleforum.org. If you have any questions about today's report, please feel free to post them below. And we will plan to see you in a couple of weeks. And in the meantime, we hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.